Good morning, everybody. When you guys get home, is there a ritual you guys do when you get there, right? I mean, whether it be petting your dog, your cat, maybe hugging your significant other, something like that. Well, there's a quote by Lord John Wolfe, and he says, "Home is when you hang your hat," which I agree, because most people are comfortable. They get comfortable when they're in their own element. So, for example, people like to take their shoes off, put on their favorite TV show. Me personally, I get home, I'll probably take my shirt off, and then maybe get something to drink. And then, so, with that being said, people have several different rituals when they get home so they can feel comfortable. For example, people will go home and they will get comfortable by either putting their favorite TV show on or getting their pets and cuddling up with them. There's also people that like to maybe get a beer or something so they can get comfortable at home. There's a lot of things that people do to get comfortable in their own home. And I believe that it's true that you have to get comfortable in your own home because, for example, when you go to like a hotel, it's not really your own home, so you're not as quick to relax because you see stuff on TV, like people have putting like cameras in there, so you're not very comfortable with that in a hotel room. So you would be most likely to keep your hat on in a way, not literally, but figuratively. So there are many different ways that people well, with that being said, I agree with the quote, and that people are get comfortable in their own element, and it's not really a home unless you get comfortable and you're able to be yourself within that element. Thank you.
Right, well, I like the rhetorical question about rituals at the beginning of the presentation, and I kind of like the interpretation that you're making of the quote, too, at the beginning. However, once you get there and you've got that interpretation, you don't do much with it except kind of repeat it. You got on a cycle and it was a loop. You know, we went through a loop of the kinds of rituals that people do, and then we went through that loop again, and you're not really moving forward any place. When you watch back on the video, I think when you get to the last thing that you're saying, that's actually making a point that is, I think, a little bit more useful to you. And if you use that as the jumping off point for your presentation, that you'd have an easier time to find things to talk about instead of just kind of repeating the same ideas. The delivery elements, you project your voice fine, and I think it flows pretty smoothly, although, like I said, it is repetitive when it comes to content, but you aren't hesitating, there aren't pauses. When in doubt, you just kind of go back to saying the same thing, and that's, I think, a little problematic when it comes to content, but delivery, you're doing okay. The negative thing on delivery is you have a tendency with your gestures, either the fig leaf pose or the arm wrap and hugging, and then you get this sort of Jack Benny look that you do. You guys probably don't even know who Jack Benny is. He's a famous comedian, but that was like his standard sort of pose where he's holding his elbow in one hand and he's got his hand up on his face like this, and you kind of like you're thinking out loud in front of the audience there, and that looks a little bit awkward. It looks a little bit like you are disengaged from the presentation. So that's, I think, problematic. You do face us. Your facial expressions are okay. I do think you have a tendency to talk to me, the center part of the room, and you need to kind of engage other people too. At least that's when I was looking up and I would see that. I didn't notice you kind of taking in the whole room the whole time while you were speaking. It just tended to be the center part of the room. All right, thank you.